Mic check. What's going on, you guys? It's your girl, Tatiana Vixen, and this is another exclusive school assembly. I know you saw the title, and today we are going to be exploring the rise of Roly. That's right, one of Zeus's main faces. We're going to understand why she is the way she is and how she became to be. But just make sure that you like, comment, and share, and best believe I'm going to meet you there because your girl be in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure that you leave a comment. Today's assembly, we about to get into some things about the one and only Roly. You know her from Baddies, and you also know her from the One More Chance show. Some of us even know her from a Jerry Springer episode, but we will be getting into that. However you discovered Miss Roly, today's the day you're going to learn just how she became. So sit back, relax, grab you some popcorn, or grab your makeup, whatever you doing while you watching this video, set it up while we run these credits. Let's go. Gia Mayhem, but you all know her as Roly Poly Snack Meals. But before there was a Roly, there was a Goldie. And before there was a Goldie, there was just little Gigi. Gia Mayhem was born September 12, 1992 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Not much is known about Gia's early life. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to be calling her Gia for the sake of the video until her name changed to Roly. Anyway, not much is known about Gia's early life, but we do know that she was actually pregnant by the age of 14. That being said, Gia's father passed away before her son David was born. According to Gia in some episodes of Baddies, she was super close to her father, and he lost his life, I believe, to like a heart attack or a stroke or something of that realm. Gia was a teen mom by the age of 15 on her own, and you could probably imagine that life was not easy. This of course means for a young teen mom that options were pretty limited for Gia, so she eventually turned to stripping, not sure what age, but she did that to provide for her and her son. It's said that Gia was working at a strip club called Little Darlings, which is wild and ironic because there ain't shit little about Gia. She kind of built up a online presence. Many men knew her. I'm assuming by her name Goldie. She also went by her real name Gia, but she was a well-known big girl dancer out in Vegas and also online. Like, men was hitting her up, sending her money. They lived for Miss Big Girl. This popularity eventually led us to 2017, where Gia made her first TV debut, but not in the way you think. In a 2017 episode of Jerry Springer called Online Feuds IRL, a man named Timmy went on the show to kind of like profess his love for Gia and just spoke so highly about her Instagram posts that he liked. This was Timmy, who by the way was a self-proclaimed BBW lover. This was his chance to meet Gia Mayhem on the show. While the Jerry Springer show is known for their on-air fights and Roly being known to being on a show where she fights, surprisingly, this episode did not involve fighting. In fact, it got a little weird. You see, Timmy had a thing for fettuccine, a fettuccine fetish, if you will, tongue twister. And Gia Mayhem decided that on the Jerry Springer show, she was going to fulfill his fantasy. When Gia was brought out, she allowed producers to bring out a kiddie pool. She got in it and allowed producers to pour fettuccine noodles all over her body in front of Timmy on national daytime television. This appearance, of course, really did not make her a breakout star. The Jerry Springer show was often known for its over-sexualized and controversial guests, and Gia was no different. She was just another wild and weird guest added to their list. In fact, I'll even go as far as to say it seemed like the audience was not laughing with her, but more so at her. Now we fast forward to 2 years later in 2019, where Gia appeared on another talk show called Face the Truth. I personally have never heard of this show, but apparently they aired for one season and had over 300 episodes and was hosted by Vivica Fox and 3 other Hollywood personalities. Gia appeared in one of those episodes, and it was at this point she kind of looked like the Rolly that we've grown to know and love. On the show, Gia's sister brought her there to kind of confront her about her online presence and how she just felt like it was her stripper lifestyle was too vulgar, too much, and just a woman who had a son shouldn't be living this way, and she wanted her to make a change. Gia's sister also hated the way she dressed and wanted her to have a complete makeover. What I noticed while I was watching the episode, yes, I watched the episode, the whole thing, but what I noticed was, and it kind of gagged me, how intelligent Gia was. While all the ladies on the show chastised Gia for her lifestyle, she stood her ground and definitely explained how she was interested in starting her own clothing line for plus size exotic models and just how much money there was to be made in this line of work. And I agree, I gotta admit, I was kind of proud. Gia articulated herself, she wasn't ratchet, and was a completely different Gia that we had met 2 years prior on the Jerry Springer show. She stood up for herself so well that even the main host, Vivica Fox, took her side and stated that, you know what, you explained yourself so well that I get it. You out here hustling and you're doing it safely. A woman providing for her child. Now, of course, towards the end, they also had to give Gia a makeover, in which they did, and full honesty moment, I fucking hated it. This shit was ass and doodle. She looked like a 40-year-old high school librarian, and mind you, she was 27 years old at the time. While on the show, many would say that this was a wake-up call for Gia, and to be truthfully honest, it was, but not in the way you think. If anything, this trash ass make under just proved to Gia that what she was doing was what was best for her. It wasn't until a year later when the world got a taste of just who Gia was. In comes the rolling 2020s. Now you already know 2020 was not the year for the world thanks to COVID, and everybody was home, inside, and this was the come up of a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of online presence. In August of 2020, Kamal Givens, also known as Chance Stallionaire, debuted his own love show, One More Chance, on the Zeus network. This was the baby years of Zeus, and many people were still getting to know the network. Chance was one of the reasons that the network elevated and was probably the blueprint of how they would move forward with their television shows. Before the Baddies phenomenon, celebrities like Black China, Chance, and even Jocelyn Hernandez were already popular in their own right before ever having television shows on the Zeus network. And because of their celebrity and clout, this is what made people subscribe to the Zeus network. One More Chance was the first show on Zeus that displayed that whole girl fight aspect that we've learned to love today. The show supplied viewers with that Bad Girls Club energy that we were missing, along with that VH1 Flavor Flav, I Love New York nostalgia that we missed. It was a hit, and when you throw in Gia's larger than life personality, you got a recipe for something great, and that's when Rolly was born. Roly Poly Snack Meals was actually the nickname that Chance Stallionaire gave Gia Mayhem. It became clear and very evident that she was probably someone he was not going to pick as a love interest winner. But don't worry, because Roly had her eyes set to bigger and better opportunities. Becoming a fan favorite, Roly was funny, loud, proud, and optimistic. Plus, she had no problem putting her hands on a hoe. She built a bond with another cast member named Slim, and this friendship actually worked because they were so different. Slim was skinny, white, and short, while Roly was thick, Afro-American, and tall. This dynamic also proved that Rolly was not insecure about her weight, nor was she jealous of girls slimmer than her, especially since her bestie was super slim to the 10th power. Rolly proved to be a heavy hitter, no pun intended, when she had a viral moment of her sit down with the queen of reality TV, Tiffany New York Pollard. The two kind of played off of each other, and it also proved that Rolly knew her comedic timing, and she was definitely self-aware of her weight and had no problem making fun of herself. This proved to work in her favor because the bitch made it to the top 3. That's right, the big girl almost won, and fans loved that. So much so that Rolly was brought back the following year in 2021 to compete again in season 2. And while Rolly has later admitted that she knew she would never win, she was also aware that this was a platform that would help her jump kick her career. Somewhere in between 2020 and 2021, Rolly began her rap career, and honestly, she was definitely laying bars. Now fans were not only able to see her on their television screens, but also on iTunes and YouTube through her music. I love this move from Rolly because she knew that the One More Chance show would not last forever, let alone a reality TV career. However, nonetheless, reality TV, of course, has taken her to unforeseen heights. Although Rolly would get into her squabbles on the One More Chance show, it was during the reunions that bitch would show her ass. While it is not confirmed, I truly believe this is where the Baddies producers saw her and thought that she would be a great addition to the Baddies franchise. And speaking of Baddies, believe it or not, season 1, the show was ass. During season 1 of Baddies was a very weird season. It seemed like Natalie Nunn was trying to capture the Bad Girls Club nostalgia, but they just didn't have the right formula. It was her and several past Bad Girls Club cast members, and while they did spark a little buzz, they was not capturing that old BGC magic that we grew up to love. Now, Baddies season 2, Zeus decided to revamp the show and go in a different direction that proved to work. Instead of solely focusing on past Bad Girls Club cast members, they focused on popular influencers, Zeus fan favorites, some sprinkle of Bad Girls Club cast members, and regular girls from off the street. Rolly proved to be a great addition and now is arguably the staple of the Bad Girls franchise. Rolly has appeared in Baddies South, Baddies West, Baddies East, Baddies Caribbean, and now she's currently on Baddies Midwest. Each and every season, it seems like every time we've seen Rolly, her look kept elevating. And speaking of elevating, Rolly proved to the Zeus viewers and her fans just how serious she was about her growth. On May 16, 2023, Rolly took to her Instagram and posted a before and after pic of a recent BBL she had just received at Goals Atlanta, which that's a very controversial place, but that's for a whole nother video. This wasn't too much of a surprise because Rolly had already announced on a live to her fans that she would be getting a BBL. But little did her fans know, Miss Roly Poly Snack Meals had a few more tricks up her sleeve. In what seemed in a very short time, at least a year and a half, Rolly had multiple procedures performed on her. From a BBL, to lipo on her back, to lipo on her chin, a breast reduction, veneers, and by the way, the person who did her veneers, that's a whole nother scandal and controversial topic that we can cover another day. Zeus even granted Rolly her own show that chronicled her entire surgery journey. The show didn't quite take off like I think Zeus hoped it would, but it did give fans an opportunity to take a more detailed look at just how Rolly transformed herself and everything that she went through. However, do not be looking out for a season 2 of Transforming Rolly. Aside from a body makeover, Rolly's drip has also completely changed. Now, before she always dressed sexy, but now she actually is sexy. She's lost a good amount of weight, but still has enough to still be considered a big girl. The difference now is she has curves and swerves, good lace fronts, a badass makeup artist, and a fat ass. She's been featured on 20 Verses. She's appeared on podcasts. Cardi B shouted her out in a post. And even on the Sunday Service remix, Megan Thee Stallion name dropped her. Rolly is now officially that girl. And you can't talk about Zeus without talking about Rolly. From her fashion to her music, Rolly is paving the way for how we look at big women in the reality TV realm. They aren't the joke. They aren't the ugly fat girls. Big girls can be baddies too, and Rolly has proved that. Once upon a time, just 4 years ago, Rolly was the big girl that you liked to laugh at. Today, she's a force to be reckoned with, recently purchasing a home, being a Fashion Nova ambassador, performing her music from state to state. Don't play with her. Better clock that thing. This is a lifelong lesson to anyone who always looks down at the person in the back. Watch out, because one day, they're going to be the person in the front. That is all the time we have for today. Thanks for pulling up to the school assembly. If you want me to do more of these, please comment below. Let me know. Put some names. I'm super interested. Make sure that you like, comment, and share. And best believe I'm going to meet you there because your girl be in the comments. And if you love what I'm serving and how I give it, hit that subscribe button so you're always notified when I upload. Shout out to Rolly. Shout out to Zeus. Let's get it. You like that last video? Well, the good news is I got plenty more right here on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button so you're always notified when I upload to my channel. That's right. Binge watch the out of me.